All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day so far, and happy 24th. Today is Kobe Bryant tribute day, and yeah, we're going to be doing back-to-back videos on Kobe Bryant to celebrate his legacy and his greatness and all that good stuff. Try to do this every single month. Last month was the first time I didn't do it, and that's because I was on a break. We're back, and we're back in action, you guys. Thank you very much for being here. I've got something cool planned for now and something maybe even cooler planned for tonight. But anyways, this one is going to be, I'm going to react to Swish County. This is when you give a psychopath a basketball. And this came out about a week ago, and I immediately put it on my list to react to for the 24th. And here we are, guys. This one's going to be a long one, so go ahead and grab a snack, grab a drink, all that good stuff. Whatever you do in the morning for your routine, and let's rock and roll. No long intro because this is gonna be a doozy. So, guys, I'm gonna link the original video down below in the description as I always do. You also see a list of channel members. Shout out to you guys. I appreciate you all. Thank you for being here. I love 23rd and 24th, my favorite days, and in the end of the month as well. So, guys, I always appreciate when you guys show up and you click on these videos. Let's get to it. Like the video if you could. Hype it if you could. I'd appreciate it. And let's rock. Happy 24th, y'all.
Kobe Bryant was just a skinny rich kid with an NBA dad who grew up playing in small Italian towns you've never heard of, threw up 4 air balls in a row in the playoffs on national TV as a rookie, chucked up more misses than anyone in history up to that point, and went down as the biggest ball hog in NBA history. But he also had balls the size of King Kong, trained 6 hours a day, 7 days a week, would go 2 full years refusing to speak to a teammate in his own locker room because the guy hadn't earned it yet, would have Nike shave actual millimeters off the bottom of his shoes because he thought it would make him a fraction of a second faster.
Really?
Fluent Italian as a kid and fluent
Yo, I never heard that. Did you guys?
Spanish as an adult just so he could talk to his own teammates in a language the defenses couldn't understand, would invent imaginary defenders to beat in an empty gym because the real ones in front of him stopped being hard enough, finished with 5 champions.
Okay. Anybody who's trained, there's always imaginary defenders all the time in your head. That's part of the game.
2 finals MVPs, a league MVP, and an Academy Award, while etching his name as the single most obsessive worker the sport has ever produced. All because of a psychopathic need to out-prepare every human being he ever stepped on the court with. So
I like that too. It is out-prepare.
Kobe Bryant might look like the smoothest, coolest guy to ever step on an NBA floor. But underneath all that, he was one of the most unhinged human beings to ever touch a basketball. In a league full of generational talents who got there off pure gift and let the talent do the work, Kobe Bryant treated a Tuesday game in November like the Vietnam War. And the result, 2 straight decades of anarchy. Built in a town you've never heard of, Reggio Emilia, Italy.
I gotta say, it would have been cool to grow up in Italy.
Kobe was only 6 when Joe Bryant decided to retire from the NBA and continue his career overseas. The thing is, it took 2 years for this hungry kid to speak fluent Italian. 2 years. And it was there where Kobe started to take basketball seriously. During his father's team games, the kid had the perfect chance to show off his skills. At halftime, little Kobe would grab the ball and basically put on his own show, dribbling around, shooting from too far away, trying to impress the crowd. Maybe that's why he was already used to high-pressure moments. But those Italian fans didn't have a clue that the Kobe show they were watching was something they would talk about for the rest of their goddamn lives.
That's true. It makes me think of players like Steph Curry or Jalen Brunson. You know, anybody who grew up in the NBA because their fathers were part of it. You know, like, I don't think the first time they ever stepped into an arena to play, it was like a big deal to them because that's like their second home.
But in the end, Kobe was a kid from Philly, not from Italy. There, he became a bit of a loner. Even if he spoke fluent Italian, the enormous culture barrier that exists between both countries was just too big to ignore. And somewhere in that weird middle ground, Kobe became this basketball alien. Too American for Italy, too Italian for Philly, too rich for the poor, and too obsessed with this damn sport to fall in love with anything else. And when Kobe returned to America, it didn't get any easier. He was 12 when he attended Sunny Hill Future League in Philadelphia. Mind you, he was the son of an NBA player that had good size for his age, elite training, and the love for basketball to be a menace since he was a kid. However, Kobe scored 0 points that summer. Not in a game, 0 points the whole summer. The future
he told the story on I think the All of the Smoke podcast.
Five-time NBA champion, 81-point scorer. The man who would one day shoot over 3 defenders with the confidence of a Marvel villain could not buy a single bucket. And as Kobe himself told in the Players Tribune, that experience changed him completely. I want everyone else to feel what I just felt. For Michael, he was being rejected by his high school team. For Kobe, it was this.
Yeah.
By the time he got to Lower Merion High School...
Yeah, I mean, we all need those moments. You think you're some hot shot? Well, all right. How you feel now? Get back to work.
You could already see the thing forming. In the first scrimmage as a freshman, and as the most skinny kid no one had seen enter that gym, this dude was throwing elbows against seniors. I mean, how would a kid like this create any type of friendship? And that became the theme of his high school years, because Kobe treated Lower Merion like he was attending a military academy.
Can I see that dribble again?
School years. Because Kobe treated Lower Merion like he was attending a
protected the ball too while he did that.
Military academy. There's a story from one random Tuesday practice where the team is playing 3-on-3s to 10 points. Kobe is on a team with Rob Schwartz, a 5'7" junior bench warmer. The game is tied at 9. Schwartz gets an opening, drives to the basket, misses the layup, the other team scores, and Kobe loses. Coach said, "Most kids get a drink of water and move on." But Kobe chased Schwartz into the hallway, berating him. And even after the yelling stops, Schwartz told him he could still feel Kobe staring at him for the next 20 minutes.
Damn.
He said it felt like by losing that drill, he had lost them the state championship.
Reminds me of somebody else I know. Somebody I might have been talking about yesterday for hours.
It didn't stop there.
Crazy.
Because Kobe would play teammates one-on-one to 100 points, and sometimes he would be up 80-0, which honestly sounds like bullying.
I mean, to be fair, when I was young, if I lost to anybody other than even my older brother and my dad, but that was like the bar to get to. But if I lost against anybody my age, I don't know if I ever did, to tell you the truth. Like that would ruin my entire day too.
By 1995,
even I know it's just for fun, but like there's just like expectations on yourself.
Kobe was the senior leader of the team, and dude was obsessed with winning a state championship to the highest degree. Obsessed in the kind of way that can make your mom a little worried, After Lower Merion lost in the playoffs the previous spring, the seniors were in the locker room hugging each other, crying, and having a normal human moment after the end of their high school careers. And then junior Kobe Bryant basically interrupted their grief to guarantee that the team would win the title the next year.
Basically, he was already a professional in high school. We could just say it. He was already acting like he was getting paid millions of dollars to do this in high school, but he was doing it for free because he was obsessed. It's crazy. It's awesome.
already NBA proven. Spoilers, they would do just that. But still, Kobe was a raw high schooler that had been drafted to the most elite basketball league in the world.
This Laker team, like, even though this wasn't like a super team, this was the first team I ever experienced that I said this isn't fair. And it wasn't that they cheated or they did anything or, they didn't stack the deck. They did this pretty naturally. They created this team, but I was just like, this team is too damn good. Between Shaq and Kobe and then all the other great players on the team, like, this just isn't fair, man. And yeah, well, go figure. They dominated for pretty much six or I'm not going to say their next number, 6 to 8 years.
In one of the most iconic franchises in sports history. That's why he only played 15 minutes a game as a rookie, with DNPs sprinkled in.
Mm-hmm.
And then came his first national humiliation, the 1997 playoffs against Utah. 4 airballs in a row in his first postseason on national TV.
Nah, this was a huge teaching moment. And this is why, I always pay attention to young players going in their first playoff runs because I'm not expecting them to make it to the finish line. San Antonio is a great example of that last year. Like, how far can you make it until your legs just give out? Because eventually your legs are going to give out and you need to rest. Kobe found out. When his breaking point was.
But man, Lakers fans will forgive anything if you're confident. They still have a lot.
And if you're wondering what I mean by that, you could hear Kobe talk about it himself. But there's a reason why every single one of those shots in Utah came up short by a mile. It wasn't long. It wasn't off to the left. It wasn't off to the right. It was short by a mile. Where do you get that range? From your legs, And he had no legs left. He was trained for high school season, not NBA seasons. And especially not an NBA season plus playoffs.
So Kobe went back to work, and by his sophomore season, he was the Lakers' 6th man. And here's how insane the hype was. With no social media, no Twitter clips, nothing but word of mouth and highlights in 360p, fans voted a bench player into the starting lineup of the 1998 All-Star Game, the youngest starter in All-Star history. And that's where the infamous Michael Jordan matchup from The Last Dance took place.
Hey, you want this ball again, brother? You better rebound.
But not only the all
he wasn't wrong either. That's what he used to tell Shaq. You want the damn ball? Get it off the glass.
All-Star locker room was kind of hating on this 19-year-old. Because inside the Lakers, his rise came with friction.
No, let's be real. MJ, that whole clip of MJ talking about Kobe in the locker room and kind of clowning on him, he would not be doing that if it wasn't in his mind. Shit, this kid's coming for me today on a big stage. All-Star games were a huge deal back then. And he was like, all right. So he was psyching himself out. Like, this guy's going to attack. He's going to shoot every time he gets the ball. Who's on the other end? Who's guarding him? MJ. MJ doesn't waste his breath talking about some punk kid unless he sees him as an actual threat. And yeah. Obviously, he became his mentor and all of this stuff. He saw a lot in Kobe.
Jeff Pearlman wrote in his book that people around the team saw him as mean, aloof, impossible to coach.
Yeah, he was back
Shaq
then.
called him Showboat, and that nickname carried some hate.
He was impossible. He was not coachable yet.
I was honestly tired of this dude trying to take the spotlight. I mean, Shaq had played in the NBA Finals. He was the most unstoppable force in the league at that time. And some snobby rich kid walked in, chucked up 4 airballs, and acted like he was the star of the show. But it would get much worse than a nickname. During the 98 lockout, Shaq and Kobe reportedly got physical during a pickup game where the 2 Hall of Famers had to be separated, or things would have ended up terribly for Kobe.
Yep. I think part of the issue was Kobe came in from high school and he was immediately competing for championships. I don't think it could have meant the same to him as it did to the rest of the team. So while the rest of the team is just like, guys, we got to lock it in. We got to win a championship. Young Kobe coming in, as a teenager is still like in the back of his mind. He wants to prove to the world how great he is. But now's not the time. Now's time to win, But he never got that opportunity. I always think of young Jordan where his first, 3 to 4 years, he got to really just show the world that he's the greatest you've ever seen. And then after that, it was, okay, that was fun. Now we got to win, Kobe never got that opportunity. It was immediately get into the league. You're in Shaq's team. we've got the best team in the league. Let's win some championships, you know?
The bomb was ticking before the dynasty even started. The reason they still became legendary is that the violence and ego could be aimed at the opposition. Long enough to win, at least. And it worked, because the 1999-2000 season gave Kobe Bryant his first championship trophy. Shaq won MVP and destroyed the league.
Yeah, he did.
But Kobe became the Robin besides the Batman. In the 2000 finals, even after hurting his ankle against Indiana, Kobe returned and helped swing the series. Still, the ugliness never stayed fully under the surface. Kobe not only had hands for Shaq, because on April 2nd, 2000, Kobe got into it with Chris Childs against the Knicks. There was contact, talking, the usual NBA dance where two men pretend they're not about to do something stupid. And then Childs punched him twice.
Hey, man, Childs pushed him first, and then he punched him first. So I don't know, man. I mean, what would you do? If I was Kobe, I'd be warning him and threatening him too. Like, don't do it.
Like, really fucking hard. Kobe tried to answer.
Punch me in the throat.
Rejected, and both were suspended. You don't get punched in the face by another man if you're not being an asshole. And I don't even want to know what Kobe was saying to Childs that night.
Is that a fact? You don't get punched in the face? I don't know. I don't know. In the heat of a game, anything can happen. I don't know why. I've got the Mike Tyson quote in my head. Everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face.
The thing is, by 2000, Kobe had become a legitimate superstar. No gimmicks. He averaged nearly 29 points during the regular season, then tore through the playoffs besides Shaq as the Lakers went 15-1 and produced one of the most dominant postseason runs ever. That was arguably the peak basketball version of the Shaq-Kobe iconic duo.
Kobe also got spoiled because he came into the league with Shaq. I mean, he got to play with Shaq immediately, and Shaq commanded a double team. That's something MJ never got to experience, is playing on the same team with somebody else who gets a double team. And Shaq literally got it every single play, you know. So Kobe got a lot of open looks. I'd be willing to dare to say though that was boring for Kobe because the shots were too easy back then. You know, he likes to break a person.
Collectively, the Lakers looked like a top 3 team of all time, but deep inside, the relationship was still a total mess. Yeah. Kobe was a loner at 11 years old. Kobe was still a loner after winning his second NBA championship. The 2002 season brought a third straight championship, while Kobe was already being considered one of the best players in the association. He was killing on offense while locking up your favorite player on the other end. All defensive first team, and he finished top 3 in the Defensive Player of the Year race, a guard, finishing top 3 for Defensive Player of the Year in a big man's award, especially in a big man's era. This video is sponsored by...
Before we go there, 30 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Damn. Look at T-Mac, too. T-Mac racking it up himself. Timberwolves KG. People forget just how good he was. Tim Duncan. Wow. KG actually outperforming Tim Duncan a little bit there. But Timmy had a way better team. And then there's Shaq. 27, 11, 3, 0, and 2.4. Wow. So Tim Duncan getting the most blocks out of everybody.
The year in a big man's award, especially in a big man's era.
Hey, you know what? Honest question. I need some new earbuds because my Android, my Galaxy ones are going out. Is Raycon a good choice?
This video is sponsored by Raycon.
I like it.
I want to talk
for real. I'm being real.
Raycon bone conduction headphones. I've been using these pretty much every day since I got them. Whether I'm at the gym, running errands, or just working from home, they're the ones I actually reach for over my other earbuds because I still hear what's going on around me without sacrificing sound quality. Honestly, they've just become part of my daily routine. What makes them different is they sit just outside your ears instead of in them. So you've got music or a podcast going, but you can still hear everything around you. Traffic, people, your surroundings. Makes being active feel way more comfortable and honestly a lot safer too.
I mean, pretty cool in theory, but I'd probably use these a lot less than the in-ear ones that I have.
13 hours of battery life, IP68 waterproof and dustproof, and a no-bud fit that doesn't slip when you're moving, built for all-day use. And the quality rivals the big audio brands, but at half the cost. Over 3 million customers love Raycon, and they come with a 30-day happiness guarantee so there's no risk. The bone conduction headphones are a great option for everyday listening. Click the link in the description box or go to buyraycon.com/SwishCountyBC to get 20% off. And thanks to Raycon for sponsoring today's video. He was also aggressive against his own damn teammates. See, the Lakers were having this half-court contest at the end of practice, like every other day. They put $100 in the pot, and whoever made the shot first took everything. Samaki Walker, among other teammates, played, and lost. Kobe played, and won. Now the rule was, the players had 48 hours to pay the $100. Less time than that had passed when Kobe came to Samakai on the bus. Out of all the people who had to pay him, he chose specifically him. "Man, I don't have no $100 on me right now," Samakai said. He put his earphones back on, and then Kobe Bryant sucker punched him. It was a sucker punch, right to my face, out of nowhere. Kobe apologized later, but that was another proof that behind the rise of Kobe, apart from his work ethic, something dark was looming.
Dude, okay, straight up. I don't believe in people betting when they don't have money on them. That's a real big pet peeve of mine. I have done this with people, you know, even if it's like $5 or $10, and then I'm like, okay, where's my money? And they're like, oh, I don't have it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, bullshit. You know, you're full of shit. I'm never betting with you again. But I never punched him in the face.
During that period,
Damn.
there was also the Eric Chenoweth story from training camp in Hawaii, where Kobe reportedly humiliated a fringe player by pushing his head and demanding ice cream. Rook.
Wait, what? Hold up. Recounts Kobe Bryant's harsh treatment during his brief. He was a complete prick. Hold on, I want to hear this again.
There was also the Eric Chenoweth story from training camp in Hawaii, where Kobe reportedly humiliated a fringe player by pushing his head and demanding ice cream.
I don't understand this. Like, was this guy not giving him ice cream and then Kobe wanted ice cream and he was going to kick his ass over some ice cream? Oh, man, this is good.
Rook, you better give me my motherfucking ice cream.
Yeah.
You better fucking run. Mind you, Chenoweth was 7 feet tall, and after he retired, he said this. Kobe was a complete prick. Not only is he a douchebag, he's a douchebag who's a prick. If he knows he can get something from you, he'll treat you with respect. If there's nothing in it for him, he can't give a shit.
Wow.
This guy had no friends, and that was fine by him. If that wasn't enough, the 2002 playoffs pushed the Lakers and Kobe into deeper villain territory. Against Sacramento, one of the most hated and debated playoff series ever, Kobe caught Mike Bibby in the face with an elbow while fighting for position.
Yeah, this is the first series I ever watched, and a lot of you are probably going to agree with me that I believed, and I still believe, and with all the evidence that have come out now, I 100% believe this was fixed.
Bibby started to bleed, and another injury caused by Kobe being violent. Collectively, the Lakers won again. Individually, Kobe was now a 3-time champion at 23 years old, but his hunger had only gotten darker. This dude didn't give a single fuck about the consequences if he reached his goals. And that didn't only apply to basketball. It also applied to money, status. Kobe knew what he wanted out of life and was going to do whatever the fuck he wanted to get it.
True.
Kobe Bryant was one of the most hated players in the NBA. And it wasn't just because he was rocking the purple and gold. However,
That's true. He was the opposite of LeBron. He was not liked, but he was revered and feared.
Kobe's darkness was about to reach the lowest point of his entire life. Colorado 2003. You can't just ignore it.
Yep.
In July 2003, Kobe was accused of sexual assault. He denied the criminal accusation. The criminal case was dismissed in 2004 after the accuser declined to testify, and a civil case was later settled. Kobe issued a public apology, acknowledging that while he believed the encounter was consensual, he understood that the woman did not view it the same way. As a fan, you can have your version, and that's fine. But after facing a criminal trial and legitimate prison time with 3 chips on your fingers, something in Kobe's head finally clicked.
And with that issue, guys, like, I don't really have much of an opinion on it because we never got to know the facts. So I don't see what's the point of me saying, oh, I think it's this or I think it's that, because we don't know, because the case got dismissed and it got settled outside of court and there was settlement money involved. So it could be true and she took the payout, or it could be completely fabricated and she did it for the payout. I don't know either way. It's not my business to know, and it's not my business to say it.
Around the same time, Shaq reportedly made a rap on a team flight mocking Kobe in the Colorado situation while Kobe was absent. And that honestly tells you how toxic the Lakers locker room had become, to the point where even Phil Jackson reportedly wanted Kobe out. By 2004, the Lakers ran it back with Karl Malone and Gary Payton, chasing one more title with this new unction that was supposed to be scary.
And there's a lot of you that get pissed off at me when I say that Kobe was not coachable at this point. But this is the proof, you know? It's cool because these two get back together, Phil and Kobe later on. And Kobe is very coachable by that point, and they're even they become like family. You know what I mean? But we got to cover the story the way it actually happened. At this stage, Phil Jackson was willing to walk away if they didn't trade Kobe. And then guess what? They didn't trade Kobe. They got rid of Shaq instead. Phil Jackson left.
On paper, they were probably the most stacked team in NBA history. But in reality, this team was too geezed up to compete.
Yeah.
They reached the finals.
It's so funny. You can have all the talent in the world, but then, egos get in the way.
Dismantled by the Detroit Pistons. Phil Jackson was done. Shaq was traded to Miami, and Kobe stayed.
Yep.
The dynasty had ended, but after years of fighting for control, Kobe finally got what he wanted. The franchise all to himself.
Yep, he got to be 84 Jordan all of a sudden. That's exactly what he got. So he went in complete reverse, competing for those championships. Next thing you know, now he's at the bottom, and he's going to, guess what he does? Freaking start scoring 35 points a game is what he starts doing. Just like 80s Jordan.
The Colorado incident changed Kobe, and he had the luck to not only reset his name, but also his franchise. After Shaq left, Kobe changed his number, changed his public identity, and created the Black Mamba alter ego. After Colorado, after the public damage, he needed a way to separate Kobe Bryant, the person, from Kobe Bryant, the basketball assassin. But his Lakers were total ass. From 2004 to 2007, the Lakers weren't good enough to justify the size of his ambition.
Well, Kobe was good enough to win MVP every single year at that point, but his team was not good enough. Not good enough to get him the recognition.
Went to Miami and won another championship in 2006,
took 2 years.
Which only sharpened his knife. Kobe was now judged every night against a ghost of a former teammate, and people started asking if Shaq was the sole reason for the Lakers' success and three-peats. But individually, this is when Kobe became maybe the greatest scorer ever. He averaged 28 points in 2005, then 35.4 in 2006 in the midst of the dead ball era, when teams were wasting 23 seconds of the 24-second shot clock by having their point guard dribbling the ball like a rock. And then, January 22nd, 2006 happened. 81 points against Toronto. Shit wasn't even a blowout.
40? He played all... Oh, okay. Not all 40. Yeah, he played 42 minutes. So almost 2 points per minute out there. Sick. And then once again, I give Kobe crap sometimes about his shooting percentage. Not this day. Shooting over 50%, yet yielding almost 2 points every minute on the floor. Yep. 60%, 61%. That works.
The Lakers were losing in the first half.
What else you got? 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, and a block. Okay, yep. Got nothing negative to say about that.
1 point against Toronto. Shit wasn't even a blowout. The Lakers were losing in the first half, and dude dropped one of the biggest scoring masterpieces in league history.
Of course it's not a blowout. Yeah, he did this out of necessity. You don't score 81 points just for fun. Like, you'll be sitting before you get anywhere close to that. Unless your name is Bam.
Of course, the guy who played one-on-one to 100 in high school would eventually look at an NBA team and decide he could bury them alone. The problem with a game like that is that it validates the insanity. That scoring explosion gave Kobe proof that the ridiculous shots were not always ridiculous if he was the one taking them. But his teammates had to live inside that world. Smush Parker's story remains as one of the craziest examples of Kobe's insane hierarchy concept.
Yeah, no, during this era of Kobe, I would hate to be his teammate. I would have hated these like 2 to 3 years of being his teammate. But yeah, once about like 07, like 2007 comes around, then I would love being his teammate.
Parker said that during practice, he tried to talk to Kobe casually about football, and Kobe looked at him dead serious and said, "You can't talk to me. You need more accolades under your belt before you come talk to me." For this dude, you had to earn the ability to small talk with him, because in his mind, he rated absolutely everything. And this paranormal behavior was still the same 10 years after entering the league, and 16 years after that Lower Merion scrimmage. He was that same Hunger kid disguised as a 3-time champion. In the 2006 playoffs, The Lakers actually pushed Steve Nash's son hard, and for a moment, it looked like Kobe might drag a flawed team somewhere it honestly had no business going. Then came the Raja Bell incident. Bell clotheslined Kobe in Game 5 like a WWE takedown in Royal Rumble.
Yeah, that was a cheap shot, for sure. It was Raja. We loved Raja. Raja was a hell of a defender. I probably laughed at that moment when I watched that live. I'll admit, I probably had a beer in my hand, and I'm like, yeah, take that, Kobe. But I would be real. That was a cheap shot.
When asked why, Raja said, I have no respect for him. I think he's a pompous, arrogant individual. Again, I don't want to know what Kobe was saying to him to entice him. 2 games later, in Game 7 against Phoenix, one of the strangest games of his entire career took place. Kobe scored in the first half, then barely shot the ball in the second as the Lakers were blown out. The theory was that after being criticized for shooting too much, he let the world see what happened to the Lakers when he didn't. You want me to pass? Okay, enjoy this shit show. Nobody can prove what was in his head, but don't you think this dude was crazy enough to pull this off?
I mean, listen, I'll always have this view, and there's going to be some of you in the comments that are going to have the opposite view, and that's fine. We all have different opinions on stuff. If Kobe did this in a regular season, I'd have no problem with it. You know, do this every once in a while if they're criticizing you too much and the media was on his ass. Do this in a game that doesn't mean that much. You know what I mean? Be like, fine, I'll pass the ball all game, and we'll see what happens. We'll see if we win. If we win, maybe you're right. If we get our asses kicked, you're probably wrong. You know, you don't do it in the most important game of the series. Or, I'm sorry, of the entire season. You don't do it in a do or die situation. That's where I have a disconnect from some of you guys who still say Kobe was justified for doing this one. I don't agree with you on that. You don't do it in that scenario, no matter how pissed off you are. Your team, you're the captain. The team is relying on you. You do not abandon your team in the most important game of the year. Okay? That's just my view. You can have a different opinion. I'm not going to agree with it. You know? Once again, to reiterate, if he did this in a worthless game in the regular season, I 100% would have his back.
Due to Kobe Bryant's unwillingness to shoot the ball, the Lakers went home in a do-or-die game after he let the ship sink. I mean, the following season, Kobe's actions became even more controversial, reaching almost Draymond Green type of status. In January 2007, he hit Manu Ginobili in the face after a shot and was suspended. Weeks later, he hit Marko Jaric in a similar way and was suspended again. In his first game back after his suspension, this dude really came back and committed a flagrant foul on Kyle Korver. But apart from Kobe rejecting that label, these actions had become a pattern, and the league was not happy about
This was
that.
a mad, angry Kobe.
And even if he had become the emblem of the most iconic franchise in the NBA at this point, Kobe had grown tired of the Lakers. It was 4 seasons living in mediocrity, living off first-round exits, living off the scoring of a guy that never had enough help after Shaq was traded. And by 2007, his patience collapsed. He walked into the front office and demanded a trade. And even if he never got it, that sent a message. Apart from needing control, Kobe needed something more. He needed everyone on the same page as him. Something that is not easy when you're comparing yourself with a basketball psychopath. Kobe would have killed for some help. Literally. This dude wanted to prove that he could win without Shaq with his blood and tears. And there's a story that proves it. Andrew Bynum was an incredibly gifted 19-year-old that was considered one of the young centers with more upside in the league. The problem is, he got caught in the frenzy around a possible Jason Kidd trade. Kobe was recorded saying, "Andrew Bynum? What the fuck? Are you kidding me? Andrew Bynum? Fucking ship his ass out." Bynum ended up hearing this, and obviously, it didn't feel good. Kobe was his hero, his role model, and Bryant didn't give a single shit about that. He wanted him gone and couldn't care less how he felt. But in the end, Kobe finally got the help he needed. Not only in the form of a teammate that would allow the Lakers to finally be competitive, but also in the form of a person who would become one of his best friends. On February 1st, 2008, Pau Gasol was traded from the Memphis Grizzlies to the Los Angeles Lakers to create a reign of terror in the Western Conference.
And let's not forget, he got his coach back. Phil reuniting with Kobe and them having a new understanding on how to work together and how to make this team operate was, to me, that was the most important thing. Getting Pau is secondary, but obviously very important on the court. But as far as like, they could have had Pau, but still had all this toxic crap going on in the locker room. I don't think they're winning a championship that way. You know, they have to be unified, and they got that. They call Phil the Zen Master for a reason. But you got to buy in.
That Pau Gasol trade immediately saved the second half of Kobe's career. After that, the Lakers became a contender immediately. Gasol gave them the scoring, rebound, defense, and above all, a super high IQ player that could understand everything Kobe was trying to feed him. For the first time since Shaq, Kobe had a teammate who could think the game at an elite level beside him. And the 2008 season became one of the greatest turning points.
Look at this soft. Hold on.
Who could think the game at an elite level beside him. And the 2008 season became one of the greatest turning points of his entire career. Kobe won league MVP. The Lakers made the finals, and the conversation shifted away from the Shaq merchant allegations. But the finals loss to Boston left another scar. The Celtics bullied the Lakers, especially in the closeout Game 6, and that loss gave Kobe a new humiliation to metabolize. That same summer, Team USA gave the rest of the basketball world the chance to see this insane man pull off some Kobe things. The Redeem Team roster had LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Carmelo Anthony, Chris Paul, Chris Bosh, Dwight Howard, Jason Kidd, but not Andrew Bynum. Their roster was supposed to take revenge for the humiliation of the 2004 Olympics, and Kobe was the leader of the new iteration. And his teammates, future Hall of Famers, the best players alive, got a first-hand look at the sickness. Dwayne Wade tells a story of the whole team stumbling to breakfast at 8 a.m. in Vegas, and Kobe walking in, drenched in sweat, ice on his knees, having already finished a full workout while everyone was asleep.
I think I talked about it in a video from yesterday, though. This is how the great ones get their advantage. While all the rest of the players were out at the club, Kobe's in the gym. So he's getting hours ahead of these guys. And then once they leave the gym, guess what? When they all went to the club, he was at the gym too. But then they're still at the club and they're just getting in. He's already back at the gym after resting. You're getting in hours in one day that everybody else doesn't have. And then you multiply that by 365 each year, your advantage is like you're clearing everybody. You're creating so much space between you and everybody else. MJ did it. Kobe did it. This is how you become great.
LeBron and Bosh tell the same story. These are the most competitive humans on the planet, and Kobe made them feel lazy. Those Olympics were legendary for Kobe Bryant. Those are the infamous games where Kobe talked trash to Luis Scola in Spanish. Mind you, Luis was literally telling Kobe to stop speaking Spanish because he's better at English, and Kobe replied with one of those insane answers you'll ever hear. Shit, I'ma show you which language I'ma speak. Kobe wasn't wrong. Team USA blew the shit out of Argentina, but in the finals against the best iteration of Spanish talent in history came one of the most iconic moments of Kobe's career. Before Team USA played Spain, Kobe knew Spain's first play. I mean, how could this maniac not know which play they were going to run, right? He knew Pau would be the final screener. Pau was his Lakers teammate, his close friend, and Kobe told the Americans he was running through Pau's fucking chest. Then on the first play, he did exactly that. As Gasol said, that sent a message. Maybe you're my brother, but today you're my enemy. Kobe set the tone for Team USA to win the game and recover the honor they lost in Athens 4 years prior.
This is one of the best Olympics games for USA basketball, I think, ever. This is an intense game. Guys, if you haven't seen it all the way through, guys, don't watch the highlights. Watch it all the way through. Can't do it here on YouTube. I can't do it here on YouTube. The Olympics committee, they block the hell out of these. I'm surprised he's getting away with any footage at all.
The first day back in training camp, Kobe hung the gold medal in Pau's locker and basically said to him, "You came up second in the NBA, losing the finals against Boston. You came up second in the Olympics, losing the final against Team USA. What are you going to do about it?" Imagine being Pau Gasol at that moment. Some crazy guy may have snapped, but deep down, Pau knew Kobe was right. Bryant was only trying to pump a fire in him.
I mean, it's fair. You want to keep placing second, or you want to win something.
Same page mentally. Spoiler, it worked. The Lakers won the 2009 championship against Orlando, and Kobe finally got the thing he had been chasing since Shaq left. That ring as an undisputed first option. His finals MVP was the confirmation of his success after all those years of arguments, jokes, and criticism. All that got burned in that playoff run. But this dude, after winning the 2009 title, went straight to the gym to train with Hakeem Olajuwon. Some stars would be drunk for a whole month. But this guy won his 4th NBA championship and went back to the gym. At some point, you start...
I gotta be real. I would have taken a week off at least, man. Like, you earned it at this point. Relax, enjoy, celebrate for a week, and then get back to it. But this guy, this is why, like, the word psycho is used, and it's not. I don't think it's an exaggeration. He just wasn't, he wasn't out there like killing people. He was just like he was psychotically obsessed with basketball.
Is everything worth it if you aren't even enjoying life outside of basketball? You know, you have a wife, some kids, right? But things were changing. Pau and Gasol became real close after that championship. For the first time in his career, Bryant had a real brother on his team. And Pau's influence was even doing some changes on Kobe's psychotic personality.
I know. Once Pau wasn't on the team anymore and they were playing against each other, it was cool. The love was always there between these two. They're always laughing and hugging each other, high-fiving. It was really cool to see that, man.
One of the best examples,
and that kind of goes against that earlier statement. I forgot who, by with somebody he went to high school with, who said, if he sees that you can give him or offer him something, he'll be nice to you. But if you don't, he'll treat you like shit. This one disproves that, because guess what? When Pau's not on his team anymore, he can't help Kobe in any way. If anything, he's gonna hurt Kobe. But he still had love for him. So, In
the playoffs against Houston, Kobe caught Ron Artest with an elbow around the upper chest and neck area. At the time, Artest just went crazy and got ejected. The thing is, instead of hating the guy forever, Kobe understood Ron was just another crazy dude like him. Another crazy dude that, by the way, was obsessed with winning. So Kobe in the offseason showed forgiveness for the first time in his life.
Great decision.
Because this man called Ron Artest and recruited him to the Lakers.
They did the same with Matt Barnes, too.
The plan worked shamelessly. In 2010, the Lakers went back to the finals against Boston, and this time, they got revenge. That championship meant Kobe had 5 of them, along with 2 finals MVPs. He was only one away from Mike, his idol, the player he had been studying throughout his entire life. But even if Kobe was changing little by little, becoming more of a normal person that had normal human relationships, he was eternally hungry for success until he would catch up with the basketball guilt.
I love that clip.
And Kobe negotiated with his body like a terrible landlord. I get all, you get nothing. His body was more and more damaged, but this dude couldn't resist.
That's why I say at some point you got to take a week off, Kobe. You just got to take a week off, or a day off. You got to rest that body, man.
Far from a basketball court, the same hunger he showed in Venice Beach when he was 17 was still showing up at 31. However, in his late career, the bill arrived with interest. The Lakers did beat Orlando in 2009, but they didn't beat the idea. The Magic were the first team that tried to modernize NBA offenses, if we don't give that credit to Mike D'Antoni's sons. Now the league is changing in real time. The Warriors were coming, Durant and Westbrook were rising in OKC, and the whole NBA was moving towards pace, threes, and efficiency. Meanwhile,
Mike D'Antoni, pace was it, but it was still an inside-out type of basketball. It was dual pick and rolls, and if that doesn't work, then we might hit a wide-open three-point shooter, because they had to double in and trap to stop those pick and rolls. So it wasn't the first option; it was the third option. Now threes are the first option, so it's changed. But definitely with pace of play, Mike D'Antoni, I think he kicked that door in, as well as man. There's somebody else out there. Freaking A. I'm drawing a blank right now, from Dallas, from the Mavericks. Don. I got music brain in my head. I want to say Don Henley. It's not Don Henley. Coach Don from Don Nelson. Jesus.
To adapt and survive in an era that shouldn't belong to him. Still, the Mamba was the Mamba. In April 2011, he was caught on camera using a homophobic slur towards referee Benny Adams after receiving a technical foul. The NBA fined him $100,000, and collectively, this team was
$100,000. Yo, if you start doing that for flopping, that might actually make a dent.
The Lakers tried one more grand experiment in 2013 by adding Dwight Howard and Steve Nash to Kobe and Pau, exactly in the same way they did in 2004. It didn't work.
If any of their bodies would have held up in this season, it definitely could have worked, but they all went down.
Dwight Howard got injured, Mike D'Antoni was asking Pau Gasol to play like Antoine Walker, Steve Nash was washed and injured, and Kobe was playing 48 minutes per game to keep his team alive. Not kidding. The man was so focused on making the playoffs that he didn't take a rest and averaged almost 46 minutes per game in his last 7 games of the season, because every time he went to the bench, his team just lost. But then, it happened. Of course, he shot his free throws even when his body won the battle. Kobe demanded one last possession. After that, the Lakers became a haunted house. Kobe returned, but he wasn't the same. The team was bad. The young players, D'Lo, Clarkson, Randall, were not ready, and Kobe was trapped in an environment that could no longer match his desire. That brings us to December 11th, 2014, the most infamous practice probably in Lakers history. Dude just went after Jeremy Lin. He was talking shit to him all video long, and years later, we learned that it had a toll on Jeremy's mentality, who literally was afraid of Kobe. It was like a Smush Parker 2.0 situation. But inside that infamous soft-like Charmin practice, Nick Young seemed to go bucket for bucket with Kobe, even talking some shit back. Nobody in the world can guard me, Nick said. But Kobe's reply, "Thank God I'm not from this world." He finished the practice while yelling at the front office, "I'm supposed to practice to get better, Mitch. These motherfuckers ain't doing shit to me."
Making me worse.
Which to this day is still legendary.
It is.
But finally,
those two
man,
quotes are freaking legendary. I still use them all the time.
Finally, Kobe became more open and aware about the cost of his mentality. Dude said he identified with the movie Whiplash, and the main character of that movie is just a mentally ill person. He basically gives up everything to just achieve his dream to a level that's worthy of a psychiatric diagnosis. But after all, friends come and go, but banners hang forever. In a way, it looked like Bryant was finally understanding how the normal world works. In a way, he realized he was human. But inside the realization, he still knew he was different. And he couldn't change
I'm sad
that.
we lost him, especially so early, because Kobe retired. I started really liking this dude. You know, the stuff he was doing, the way he was spending his time. You know, he was balancing it out between like hanging out with his family and his daughters and like writing books and, you know, like he was exercising his creativity. Like, I really liked who Kobe the adult, you know, the middle-aged man Kobe, who he was becoming. It's a damn shame because he really did. He was able to let basketball go. And that's something that Jordan is just figuring out now. You know, within the last couple of years, he's finally letting it go. Kobe was able to retire, turn his back, and then shift his attention to other things. And he did it right out of the gate. He just didn't get much time, unfortunately, man. Rest in peace.
Even if he was starting to appreciate life in a different way, surrounded by loved ones while he was raising a happy family, Kobe was still sick inside. Sick to become his best version even when his body was falling to pieces. By 2016, his body was done. In his final season, he dislocated his finger, had it popped back into place, and Kobe walked away laughing. The Lakers were terrible and the games barely mattered, and the season had basically turned into a farewell tour that recognized the efforts of probably the most dedicated athlete in history. But on April 13th, 2016, his final game happened.
It's like what Tim Grover said about him. The difference between MJ and Kobe was MJ listened. So when Grover would say, okay, I want you to do 8 sets of this and 12 sets of this and no more, MJ would say, fine, and he would do it. You know, trusting his trainer. Kobe wouldn't listen. You know, as you can see, obviously, in this video, he will not stop. You know, he will not stop. And that, you know, and it ends up destroying his body, you know? But that was it. He had no off mode.
Script. Or not
for
even,
better or worse. If he had an off mode, he probably wouldn't have been nearly as great. But if he had an off mode, his career would have lasted longer. I don't think Kobe had any regrets at the end. You know, I think he wanted to go balls to the wall, pedal to the metal the entire time, and he actually did that.
Place that night was the most typical Hollywood way to write the story, and people would have called it boring until it was real. 60 points on Utah. He won the game, took 50 shots. Kobe dropped the mic, said Mamba out, and left the Lakers floor for the last time, after completing one of the most iconic careers in sports history. But retirement did something strange to Kobe. It didn't remove the obsession because nothing was ever going to remove that. But it took the obsession out of basketball and forced it to find another shape. For 20 years, that energy had solely focused around winning in basketball.
I mean, whether he understood it or not, this is very, very much so like addicted or addiction behavior. And with any other addiction, when you no longer indulge yourself in the addiction you currently have, you immediately start looking for a new one. Sometimes that's good, sometimes it's bad. You know, it depends on how harmful it is to you on a day-to-day compared to the other addiction. But you're not really getting rid of an addiction if you're only swapping out for a new one. And it's common for all of us. This is very, very common behavior for all of us.
On the margins, winning with his mental edge, learning the playbook of every damn NBA franchise. But when the games were gone, it started moving into stories, business, coaching, and fatherhood. For the first time in a long time, people got to see a version of Kobe that was not constantly surrounded by conflict. During his career, the conversation around him had been honestly exhausting. Depending on the year, the same argument could be used as evidence against him. When he was gone, the league started looking back at the full shape of this thing, and people started appreciating what Kobe meant to basketball. And years later, fortunately, people started talking about the light. He built Granity Studios, with Dear Basketball becoming an Oscar-winning short film.
Definitely something to watch, you guys, if you could. I tried reacting to that. I can't remember if it made it or if it got blocked, but rightfully so. I mean, it's got John Williams music on there. It's original art. Like, yeah. In hindsight, I don't even know why I tried to do that.
He made books, animated projects, training content, and detail, where he broke down film with the same creepy precision he once used to dismantle zone defenses. But the clearest change came through Gianna. Gigi kept Kobe in the basketball world. He just couldn't escape. And through her, his relationship with women's basketball became one of the most meaningful parts of his post-playing life. He showed up for the WNBA, praising Diana Taurasi and the next generation of women's stars. He talked about the women's game with the same respect he gave the NBA. I mean, not like a celebrity doing charity PR. He was invested in it. And I wouldn't have been surprised if he ended up as the WNBA commissioner, or at least as the owner of a WNBA franchise.
Me too.
And that,
he was a huge advocate.
Gentlemen, is released as the owner of a WNBA franchise. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why the public image changed so much. This man was literally measuring people by whether they had earned the right to speak to him. And now he is mentoring young players and uplifting women's basketball while being the best father figure someone could be. Unfortunately, the story does not have the Disney movie ending it was chalked up to be. On January 26, 2020, Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter crash with his daughter Gianna and 7 others by his side. The basketball world was sent to the abyss. All the NBA players, coaches, and legends grieved the loss of one of the most iconic athletes in sports history. Even for non-basketball fans, this was huge. Everyone remembers what they were doing the moment people heard the news. I know I'm a basketball nerd, but you can't imagine the amount of people that reached out to me.
I've said this before, I'll make it quick. I was outside of Best Buy. I was buying my mom an NVIDIA Shield to set it up on her TV, basically the equivalent of an Amazon Fire Stick, but better. And I just purchased it. I walked outside of the Best Buy, and then I checked my phone, and my phone was blowing up with the news. Never forget that moment. Every time I drive by that Best Buy, it clicks in my head every time.
About it. And for a moment, everyone shared the same opinion. Yeah, Kobe was a psycho. For most of his basketball career, he was probably an asshole. But you couldn't deny at that point, everyone realized basketball had lost something irreplaceable. Sometimes it's hard to believe Kobe was a human. There was a guy under that thick skin, or rather, under those slimy scales. Somewhere in there was a 6-year-old in Italy putting on halftime shows for a crowd that had no idea what they were watching. A 12-year-old who scored 0 points an entire summer and decided the rest of the world would pay for it. A kid that locked himself in a high school gym from 5 a.m. to 7 p.m., holding his own body hostage. Every superstar is a little crazy. You don't get to that level without an ego problem and a screw loose. But Kobe Bryant was the most sick of them all, and he knew it, and never apologized for it. He looked at everything in life that wasn't basketball and filed it under irrelevant things. He wanted it all. And no matter how many people think they're the same animal, there is and there will only be one Kobe Bryant.
What a great video. Link is down below for the original, guys, in the description. Man, I'm stuck with this thought right now over the last minute of that video. Did we get spoiled? We had Magic, we had Bird, obsessive personalities when it came to basketball, and then you had Michael Jordan, who's the extreme obsession for basketball, for winning, and then we had Kobe, who carried that torch of just psychotic obsession with basketball and winning, and now we're all pissed off, and we have been for years, that we filled that dark hole since Kobe's left. That there's nobody in the game at that standard, like rising, like raising the bar that you're not going to win unless you're psychotic about this. Is that right for us to feel this way? I don't even know. Like, I'm just posing the question right now. Is it even right for us to feel this way? Is that a realistic standard? I don't know. But we had it for like almost 40 years. So after that, it's like, I don't want to see anything other than that. I want to see somebody who's willing to, who's willing to put his entire body on the line to win now. That's what we've become accustomed to seeing. So I don't know. When you see stuff like this and you grow up with stuff like this, everything else looks soft. And it is what it is, guys. Guys, this ended up being an incredibly long video. I'm going to get out of here. Please like the video on the way out. If you could, I'd appreciate it. Hit that bell if you want to get notified for the next one. And subscribe if you want more content like this, guys. I'll be back with an After Dark to continue celebrating Kobe's legacy. Yeah, I'll see you guys in a little while. And before that, see you all in the comments, guys. Be water, my friends.